This is Selena Yvette, host of Stories from Planet Earth. Thanks for listening to the following show on Public House Media.
You're listening to Catch Up, an official news production of Public House Media.
Today is July 24th, 2020, and it's time to catch up on the news that you need to know about.
Today, we're helping you catch up on a federal judge's order to release confidential documents in Ghislaine Maxwell's case.
Michael Cohen will be released from jail again.
The NHL revealed the name of their newest franchise.
And as always, ending with a bit of good news for you today.
We're your hosts, Dan Kotnick
and Catherine Smith. Welcome to Catch Up.
A federal judge ruled yesterday to publicly release documents that have been kept confidential in the case involving Jeffrey Epstein's one-time girlfriend and alleged accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell.
What is impeccably interesting in this recent statement is that the U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska is allowing Maxwell's legal team only a week to pursue an appeal regarding her decision, but ordered the courts are to have the documents ready and posted, quote, within a week.
That's right, and especially with the suicide of Jeffrey Epstein and the scandal involving Ghislaine Maxwell, it's particularly influential that these documents are shown in this suit. The documents are said to be connected to a 2015 defamation case brought by Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who allegedly claimed Epstein of sexually abusing her while she was a minor and that Maxwell aided the abuse.
While from my understanding that this case was settled later in 2017, these documents are extremely influential in the sense that they essentially have been sealed since 2016, which includes Maxwell's deposition related to the lawsuit, of what she denies knowing if Epstein had a scheme to recruit underage girls. Yet, we know now she has admitted the fault and scandal of Epstein's involvement, which has also reached the surface in the past couple of months.
And this will definitely be an interesting case to follow up, and I'm more than elated to find out the truth and the ruling in this case as we move closer to its hearing. Let's stay in court with our next story as Michael Cohen, former Trump lawyer, has been allowed to go back home to serve his 3-year prison sentence. Cohen was taken back into federal custody on July 9th, with his attorneys saying that he violated terms of his early release from prison.
The crux of this issue stems from an alleged agreement between Cohen and the courts that allowed him to be released from prison in late May due to the concerns around the coronavirus. The agreement apparently said Cohen would have no media engagement through any medium, which would be included in his upcoming tell-all book set to be released in September.
Cohen's lawyer, however, alleges that he never signed the agreement, and they say that this was a move to try and stop the book's release. Cohen sued the Justice Department on Monday, and now yesterday, Judge Alvin Hellerstein ruled in his favor, saying that retaliation was the only inference to make for why he was brought back into custody.
Hellerstein said in his ruling, quote, "The purpose of transferring Mr. Cohen from furlough and home confinement to jail is retaliatory, and it's retaliatory because of his desire to exercise his First Amendment right to publish a book and discuss anything about the book or anything else he wants on social media," end quote. And while Hellerstein did rule in Cohen's favor, he did agree there would be some restrictions on the type of contact with the media he could have, and gave prosecutors and Cohen's lawyers a week to negotiate the terms for his media contact.
NHL is getting ready to restart their 2020 season next week, but in the meantime, hockey fans got a glimpse of the future. The league is going to be welcoming in its 32nd franchise at the start of the 2021 season in Seattle, and yesterday, the team unveiled itself to the world. To discuss this more, we're bringing in Catch-Up sports correspondent John Lauder. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Definitely, John. So, there's not much to get into here, but just to unveil it to the world. What are the details, John? What's our newest hockey team going to be called? What's the story behind it from the team?
Well, look, the Washington football team guys could take some notes here from Seattle because I feel like they've done a really good job. They're going to be called the Seattle Kraken, which for those of you that don't know what that is, it's that mythical multi-armed, multi-legged sea creature. It's actually from Scandinavian folklore. Some have argued it doesn't have that much to do with Seattle itself, but who cares because it's awesome. It's sort of this mythical creature. They've got really nice coloring, navy blue, some teal, red for the eyes. And the alternate logos involve an anchor, the Space Needle. It's a really nice setup. So I think great for the NHL, great for Seattle. And overall, for me, it's the sort of the perfect logo and just a great name for a new team here for the NHL. And the merchandise, I'm sure, will fly off the shelf. So I really think the NHL did a good job with this one.
Yeah, and personally too, I love that the Kraken logo is in the shape of an S to kind of harken back to the Seattle Metropolitans, that first team that they had. And I think actually that was the first team based in America to win the Stanley Cup, was Seattle's old team from back in the 1940s. So to kind of have that connection to the past as well. And like you said, John, too, the logo is awesome. So the Kraken, they're not going to play until, like we said, the 2021-2022 season. The stadium is still being built. And actually the press conference today took place at the construction site of the new stadium. It's also going to host the WNBA team, the Seattle Storm. And the stadium itself is also a bit of a trailblazer. John, can you tell us a little bit about what is so special about this new stadium that the Kraken and Storm are going to play in?
Yeah, it's really interesting because Amazon secured the naming rights to this new arena that, like you mentioned, will house the Kraken, which just is awesome, 3 words by itself. But it'll house us, the Seattle Storm as well, the WNBA franchise. But the company's name, they're not putting it on the building. They're calling it the Climate Pledge Arena, and it will feature several green initiatives. They're trying to become the first arena in the world to earn net zero carbon certification by the International Living Future Institute. That's a whole lot of words. Basically what that means is it's going to be really environmentally friendly, probably the most environmentally friendly arena in the world, which is really cool in itself. And also, I would expect NBA basketball to be coming sooner rather than later back to Seattle. It was really a horrible situation. And if you just Google Seattle Sonics, you'll get the whole story. It's awful. What they did to the Seattle fans having the Sonics leave. That was one of the really great franchises in the NBA and an incredible atmosphere up, in the Seattle area. So I would expect an NBA franchise to come around at some point again to be playing in that arena. But the fact that it's going to be so climate forward, plus the really cool name, I feel like everybody in Seattle should have a smile on their faces right now because they're finally getting the hockey team that they wanted. And I think this is the first step to getting professional basketball. We've already got women's basketball, which is awesome in itself, but I think you'll also be getting professional men's basketball at some point back in Seattle. Plus, you can also be getting college basketball in as well, because I have no doubt the NCAA tournament will want to be playing some of their games there also. Yeah,
kind of a double dip, an awesome team and an awesome stadium.
Exactly.
It's a win-win for everybody. John, thank you as always for taking the time and helping us release the Kraken today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. It was a pleasure.
As always, we have a bit of good news today. In the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, over 2 million residents decided to plant truckloads of trees, all while social distancing to the best of their ability.
Yes, which is exciting because while the virus has spread fast throughout the country, it does not impose a threat to the government's decision to conduct its mass tree planting campaign along the banks of the River Ganges as part of its pledge to shade a third of its nation under tree cover by 2030.
Talk about a tree hugger nation for sure, as the nation's target of acreage of 235 million acres would be represented. Its goal is to cover an area of acreage about the size of Texas and New Mexico combined.
Yes, and while the citizens continue to carry out its work, volunteers were said to range from nonprofit to government employees, all of whom maintained social distancing from one another in addition to face mask apparel.
Which is absolutely remarkable. Talk about pushing through the face of adversity.
Thanks for catching up on today's news with us. I'm Dan Kotnick.
And I'm Catherine Smith. Please make sure to catch up with us again on Monday.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
We appreciate you listening to Catch Up. For even more content, follow Catch Up Digital on social media. Just search for @TimeForCatchup.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories we covered today. Just use the hashtag #PassTheCatchup on social media.
Catch Up is an official news production of Public House Media.